Shalom, and welcome back to B'nai Noach Academy, Thoughts on the Torah. Please remember to hit the like button, to subscribe, and most importantly, to share this insight and inspiration with friends and family. If you look in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 14, after describing in detail all the rules of a Nazirite, here we're at the very end, when it's time to take off the hair, time to segue back into, quote, normal life, removing all the restrictions. But before the Nazirite does so, he has a whole regimen of offerings, of sacrifices that he has to bring to the tabernacle or to the holy temple. And one of them, as described in this verse, it says, "V'kafsa achat bat shnata tmima lechatat," and one young sheep, only a year old, for a sin offering. Sin offering? What sin did he commit? He or she? In fact, if you think about it, not only was there no sin involved here, but this person was, as described in earlier verses, holy. Even the hair became holy to God. And they committed themselves and submitted themselves to a higher level of purity, one that no ordinary Jew is subject to, that they even can't come in contact with anything impure and so on and so forth. Refrain from drinking wine and eating any product of the grape. And suddenly, they're told to bring a sin offering? What sin? What element of sin was there here? Well, the Talmud tells us that indeed, from a certain perspective, there is an element of sin. And that is, quote, I'm quoting now the words of the Talmud, quote, "Not enough for you what the Torah, what God already prohibited to you, but you prohibited yourself from even more." End of quote. Or the Talmud says that, quote, "a person will have to answer," meaning after one's passing, when you come before the heavenly court, will have to actually give a sufficient answer as to why there were things in their life that they had the opportunity to avail themselves of, to enjoy, and they didn't do so. So this Nazirite, who was an ordinary Jew, an ordinary person, who had access to wine, who had access to grape product, and here he made himself restricted from it. He made it prohibited on himself by means of him committing to become a Nazirite. In that sense, it is as if he sinned. Now let's understand this. Is this telling us that we should indulge in everything and anything? Absolutely not. As a people who worships God, we know that everything that's here in this world is not just for the purpose of our indulgence and pleasure and enjoyment. Rather, it's to contribute to us having a purposeful life. Thus, even things like wine, alcohol, yes, when they contribute positively to one being in a happy mood, in a celebrative state, they are positive things. And they are used, in fact, in Jewish observance by the holidays. The Sabbath is a sacramental use. You make a blessing over it. It's something purposeful. Of course, if somebody just drinks wine or consumes alcohol just to become drunk and just to remove themselves from reality, of course, it's a negative thing. And the truth is, this is an example for everything else in life. Everything that's out there, whether it is a luxury boat to a luxury car, to a simple vehicle, to a simple boat, to a pair of shoes versus a pair of designer shoes. All those things, when used in the proper manner, when channeled in our lives towards serving God, towards elevating the world to a purposeful, meaningful state, then that is absolute service of God. And in that sense, if one refrains oneself from it, then one has committed a sin. Because you could have had the opportunity, or perhaps you had the opportunity to take those material items and elevate them, make them purposeful, make them meaningful, and that would give them the purpose, the meaning, the fulfillment of why they were created in the first place. They were created to serve God or to help us serve God. But one refrains from it, one now closes the door on that opportunity. However, if it's something forbidden or something that a person has a terrible weakness for and is going to drive him in the direction of negativity, obviously then not only is it not a sin to refrain oneself from it, but obviously it is a virtue to hold oneself back, to set up some kind of precautionary doors which one closes in order not to fall into the trap of indulgence, in order not to fall into the trap of weakness and just self-gratification. So one needs to obviously understand and appreciate the balance, but at the same time, it is, yes, indeed a sin when one has the opportunity to properly elevate something to God and does not do so.